Hello, welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Smash the like button as you come into the square circle. But you saw my thumbnail. Canelo may be, he just might be, stringing us along. I like to hear what you guys think. But first, let's turn to. Welcome back. Was trying to get the volume on this. Can you guys hear me okay? I hope you guys can hear me okay. Let me know. Thumbs up or, let me know in the chat. As y'all know, I start out every show with the water check. This is my 12th bottle. So that would be 96 ounces. So after this show, I'll be up at 96 ounces. I do try to drink a little more because, you ultimately want to get to a point, if you're a fully grown person, to drink a gallon of water. But here at Boxing Fans Talk TV, we shoot for 100 ounces. So water check. I'm going to mention this, of course, for the people who watch all the time. This is going to sound redundant, but I'm talking to the new watchers, the people in the back. Listen, first thing in the morning, you need to drink you some water. Get the engine started. If you think of your body like an engine, you get the engine started, you get it lubed up, wet for all the, areas that need to be charged up and all that needs some lube. And the water is kind of the lube. At night, before you go to sleep, not when you just lay in bed looking at TV, before you actually close your eyes for the night, drink you 8 ounces of water. Why? Because your body do so much at night. It recharges, it reboosts. It just rejuvenates. It does a lot, and you burn the most calories at night. So when you sleep, more than you do during the day, even more than the average workout session. Do y'all hear the music? Let me know if y'all hear it. But as I say, after I finish this, I'm at 96 ounces. Deer Park don't pay me, but I drink spring water. Somebody asked me in my email, would they drink distilled water? How do I feel about that? I gave an example on my wellness show one time, so I'll say it here. Get you a plant. You don't have to get no expensive plant. Make sure you can put it in sunlight or whatever, something that's easy to take care of. Pour distilled water in it and watch it die. I need to say more. I'm not saying you're going to die if you drink distilled water right away, but you're definitely going to have some problems. I wouldn't drink it. It has its place, but I wouldn't drink it. So first I want to shout out to Eric Gomez is in the building with the Bomb Squad. What's up, Eric? What it do? Eric, when you gonna tell us how much water you drink? Demetrius Bright is in the building. Salute, Miss T. Rest in power, Kurt, the historian. Blessing. Yes, I do want to say rest in peace, Kurt Anderson, aka Kurt Sugar. He was a current guest on Blue Blood. I didn't know him. I've been in Blue Blood's his live or his YouTube channel at times, and I've seen, for like over a year, I've chatted in there or put some in the chat. Kurt answered some questions for me, but I don't know him, like per se. But just every blue moon, I put some in chat and he'll respond to it. But like I say, he was a current member on the Blue Blood podcast, and the dude was a wealth of knowledge. He's a wealth of knowledge, and we should all care when somebody like that, just being a person, period, when they pass on. But somebody with that type of talent, because it takes talent to hold a lot of knowledge in your head, and the man could talk off the cuff, so he knew what he was talking about. He was a regular boxing encyclopedia / dictionary, and but he'll be missed. Shout outs to his family, and condolences to them. We wish them well, and prayers are sent. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a great guy. He was definitely a great guy, and he'll be missed in the boxing social media circles. So, I wanted to give an update. I can barely hear this thing. I hope you guys can still hear me. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear this music. But importantly, if you can hear the music as I'm talking over it. So I wanted to give a quick update. Somebody brought up Keith Thurman looking drained. So I actually went and watched his press conference. And I watched it and I was like, okay. And he is in shape. Like I told you guys, I've seen some pictures of him where he looked more cut up in his pictures than I've ever seen him. I noticed the little bags under his eyes. I attribute all of that to a couple of things. I'm not saying he's not drained, but I would say Keith Thurman looked more like age is catching up with him. He doesn't look old, but he definitely looked like age is catching up with him. Lighter skinned people or fair skinned people tend to show aging a lot quicker than darker skinned people. It is what it is. And that's all I saw. Also, a factor could be he pretty much got a brand new baby. He got them eyes like people got when they have a baby. And people like, oh, but how does that work, Miss Steve? That can't be the case. He looks like a hands-on type father. Like he's getting up in the middle of the night or playing with the baby all day. He looked like I could be wrong. Ronald Finkley is in the building. What's poppin', King? He said, good evening. Salute to you. But that's what I saw. I didn't see. What you think, Demetrius? You think he was weight drained? I didn't see that too much. I just saw a person who was, like I said, age. He don't look 23 no more. He definitely don't look that. Kind of like look at Mario Barrios right now. In about 7 years from now, because that's the age difference in between them. Look how he'll look. They just, I don't know. Keith is more filled in, filled out. He's a grown man, 33 years old. So, I don't know if I would call it drain. But he did his final press conference. He showed yet again why he is charismatic and why he could sell a fight. I mean, it is what it is. So Demetrius, I do be hearing you when you say that would be a good fight with Earl and Keith. Now, if Keith can get past the body shot barrage that Earl is gonna bring to him, he might have a chance. It might be an equal fight, but I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what he do. I'm giving Keith the benefit of the doubt this fight. I wish we would have had this fight earlier, because when I say I'm gonna protest, or when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm not buying the fight. Sorry, Keith. I really want to, but sorry. Ronald Finkley said Keith Thurman looks 37. He's just a lighter skinned, fairer skinned person. That's all that's going on. He looked drained, but it could be agent or his baby girl. Yeah. Because he looked like he put, his hands on with that. Looked like he had about 4 kids. I got 3. Ronald says, I got him for the stoppage, though. Yep, I do too. I think Barrios, Barrios had that kind of look in the press conference, like, wait, you're going to be surprised. Now, the thing that they throw out there is the fact that, Barrios, he was killing himself to make weight at 140. And that might have been something that was known in boxing circles. So he made a more likely opponent for, or strategic opponent for Tank Davis. Do y'all think that? Because if Floyd, or if people in the boxing circus period know that he's killing himself to make weight, boxers know when you kill yourself to make weight, it's to the advantage of the other person that don't got to go through that. And it would have been a plus for Devontae to come in at 140, because he ain't got to drop as much weight. Was that just good cherry picking on Mayweather and Devontae's part with Barrios? Because I thought Barrios was shit. Like, I still do. I like Barrios, but I thought he was. I was like, I don't know, Tank. He might have bit out more than you could chew. He said, all pay-per-views versus on a standby. We demand it. I think you're saying, I don't know. Clarify that, Ronald Finkley, because you ran those words together. Ronald said, just my opinion, not asking you guys to not buy. Ronald, I'm the same way. I'm on protest with PBC. I'm currently protesting PBC. I cannot, with a straight face, ask anybody else to do what I'm doing, because what led me to get to this point is what led me to get to this point. I do report on things that I've heard or know about or read when it's concerned things in the boxing street. If that's the straw that breaks the camel back for you guys, then that's the straw that breaks the camel's back for you guys. I always said what it was that, for me, it was the Tim Smith interview. And he kind of confirmed to me, like, dude, like, I really do. For me, the fighters should be at the helm, followed by your promoters and managers. The fighters should be at the helm. They do the most work. They put in the hard work. Why are they last? So I already got a serious problem with that. And then I just feel like the managers and the promoters and the sanctioning bodies, they sitting back playing chess with these fighters in their lives, using them as pawns. We as fans are paying to see their fucking ass. I don't pay to see Mauricio. We'll never pay to see him. I'm not paying to see Al. We'll never pay to see him. Eddie Hearn, and so forth. I'm not paying to see them. I'm paying to see the actual fighter, the one that did the road work, the one that was in the gym, the one that took their body through a lot of ups and downs. That's who I'm paying to see. And when you, Tim Smith, come out and say, you basically ain't had no intentions ever, and this is how I interpreted it. You didn't use these words exactly, but this is how I interpret it. You were never going to give Terrence Crawford a fight. That goes for the past, the present, and the future. Knowing that all of us fans out here are clamoring for the Bud and Spence fight, I was done. I don't want to do business with them at all. Ronald Finkley said Tank took a while to figure Barrios. Yeah, Tank fights like that now. When he fought Isaac Cruz, you see he had to make an adjustment. I called it here. I said, hey, if Tank go in that ring and fight Isaac like he did Barrios and Leo, he in for a rude awakening. And he tried. He did at first. And then he realized, I better make this adjustment. And he did. Demetrius said, that may be true. They may be a true statement because Floyd and Ellaby has connections and spies everywhere. The McGregor fight with Paulie. Yep. Then so, part of me, now I'm gonna say yeah, Demetrius, but part of me, in light of how Paulie seemed like he really feel or what he really think, part of me feel like Paulie was, he was a fanboy, or he was all himself, just wanted to contribute, and he got embarrassed, and they lied, but he should have known that was gonna happen. So then he goes over and fucking with somebody like Conor McGregor. Then he goes over and it's like, just pour salt into the wound. I don't know, but I do believe Floyd and others. It don't have to be nobody as big as Floyd, but when you in that boxing circle, and all these boxers and all that, everybody talk. They talk, but they don't talk. They know to not to talk in such a way that puts it directly in the fans' lap, but they'll talk amongst each other. And if you know some of these fighters, then you'll know some of the inside scoop. But I do believe they got spies places, and he probably was like, go up to 140. Let's get the 130, get the 135 belt, and then go to 140. Mind you guys, they're not real belts. They were interim belts, which Tank should have wanted more than that. We still had to pay a sanctioning fee. I don't know if it was lower because it was interim, but my resale, he's something else. Ronald Finkley, appreciate the queen at boxing. Sir Antbo is in the building. He says, salute. Ronald Finkley said, I paid to see a monumental moment that will stand the test of time. Y'all heard me the other day when I was saying how it should go. We should reintroduce Keith back to the fans. He's can't say it enough. He come in the right package, because he's definitely eye candy. I know y'all ain't want to hear that. He is. It's eye candy. And he's eye candy to like me. You ask a white lady, she can be like, You ask a Latino lady, she can be like, You ask a Middle Eastern type person, they're like, You can ask an Indian, they're gonna be like, Y'all get the point. He's definitely eye candy. So that's number one. And it's not the only thing, but he's gonna bring in those casuals, in other words. I'm not talking about men, because I know y'all look at men differently. I ain't too fond of ranking people by their looks. It's all by what they're able to do. I'm not with all that ranking by looks. But when you talking about bringing in money, a lot of the conversation goes towards that. He's able to do that because he can bring in casual people. I'm gonna tell you, all the times that I've done a show on Keith Thurman and where I put his picture up as a thumbnail, I had more viewership. More viewership. Smash the like button as you enter the square circle. Come on, y'all, smash that like button. Stop sitting in the background, reckless eyeballing. Because a lot of y'all doing that. I'm telling you, when I get off, I see you. Stop reckless eyeballing. Smash that damn like button. Shout out to my Facebookers. Come in. Hit like, share, and subscribe. Remember, if you subscribe once, you don't have to keep subscribing. Stop sitting in the background. Just hit that motherfucker. It ain't gonna hurt. You in the square circle with me. Come on and do it. Y'all know y'all like what I'm saying. Come on in. We cool over here. We got differences of opinions, and boy, do we, don't we, Demetrius? We have debates, but I think they're amicable. It's all love in the end. Just come on in. Smash the like button when you get in this square circle. Come on. Ronald Finkley said, I've never tried to be tribal. I thank Wilder and people like Curtis Anderson's spirit that brought me back to the boxing. And I can't see Bud Crawford out of that equation. I figure I started back with them. Yes, I'm not tribal either. A lot of people was calling for like boycotting the PBC because of the tomfoolery. Something has to be done. It has to. For me, if you ask me, what would I like to come out of this? It will probably be, I want the fighters to be at the helm instead of at the bottom of the barrel. I will never understand somebody putting more effort and energy into something and getting the crumbs out of it. You know, the bottom of the barrel, like, you know, just, and the people that sit behind the desk don't put nothing hard into anything. Like when it comes to boxing, don't bust a grape and they just breaking in the dough. I think it's unfair. So for me, in my protest, if you want to join on in. If not, I understand. I don't dislike you. I just feel like you have to respect my black dollars. You gotta do it. Can't have it no other way. Ronald Finkley said, I'll see this protest through to satisfy my effort and support. I actually put it, you know, Coach Shelton made a great point. Said, Miss T, you gonna fold before they do. Like, how long are you gonna last? That's a great point, because I am a boxing fan. And in fact, I would consider myself fanatic about it. Not with meeting people, because people are people. But I'm crazy about boxing. And eventually, it's like that boyfriend you just can't break up from. No, I just can't leave him. I like other sports. I'm a physical person, but I can't sit there, and I'm being honest, I can't sit there and watch football all day. I just can't. Eventually, I get distracted. I'd rather watch something else. Damn sure baseball is like watching paint dry. Speaking of football, though, I meant to say this yesterday. How do y'all feel about the new name of the Washington Redskins? I know that they've been called the Washingtons here lately. You know, about as much football that I like is inside the NFL. We just be straight up. I don't want to come off seeming like I watch football like that, because I don't. But I do try to catch inside the NFL. I haven't this year. I don't know why I've been like smacking on my pimping with that. But I read in the news that the Washingtons are calling themselves Washington Commanders. What y'all think about that? Like, I remember years ago they was asking for the public's help as far as picking something else. And a lot of people chimed in. I didn't officially chime in, but I chimed in on Facebook or just social social media, whatever. And um, it's kind of derogatory to say Indians now. They prefer Native Americans, and it does boil down to what they prefer. So why not call it Washington natives? What y'all think? Football people with some power. Why not call it Washington natives? Y'all tell me if I'm off field with that. You would think these promoters would want their boxers' careers in the stratosphere. You would think. It's kind of like, let me give y'all a little nugget right here. When you go buy a car or go finance anything, okay, what you want to do is come with your own finance. I know this sounds crazy to some. Some of you are going to be like, I knew that. But a lot of you going to be like, what you talking about? Do your own shit. In other words, like try to make that applicable across the board in your life. Doing your own stuff, getting your own things, relying on your own self. But you want to bring your own finance. Here's why. If you go to finance a motorcycle, boat, car, whatever, they're going to ask about 15 banks, however many banks that particular dealership work with. They're going to ask them simultaneously. Yes, it's going to be considered a hard hit on your credit. Hard hit are not the end of the world. It just means like if let's say you have a 550, which is not no great credit score, but if you had a 550 and you did 15 banks, 20 banks, and you got a hard hit from doing that, asking, requesting of a line of credit, then your credit score may drop to 530. But you wasn't happy so much with the 550, so you definitely ain't gonna be happy with 530. But after about 30 days, maybe 60 tops, it'll all bounce right back up. That's a hard hit. A soft hit is like maybe your credit score would drop, but only for a week. And when you get your own finances, i.e. with your own bank, those are soft hits. Sometimes they don't move at all, depending on who you're affiliated with. Especially if you're affiliated with credit unions, they don't move at all. Ronald Finkley says, so true, Box Fan Talk TV. And when they ask these 15 to 20 banks for this line of credit for whatever you about to finance, the banks actually give them a range. They'll say 2 to 9%. Let me tell you how shicey these car dealers are, but hey, it's part of the game. They gotta eat too. So I don't be mad. I'm just happy I know this. So the car dealer will be like 2 to 9. Okay. They'll come up there and they'll be like, you're real close, but we don't got nothing. You're gonna have to put something down. I mean, if you're able to put down $2,000 or $3,000, mind you, they marked up the price of the car in the first place. So that $2,000 or $3,000 just went into their pocket. Even when they'll come back also, even if you can't put no money down, they'll be like, the best I can do for you is 9. I might can get you 8, but I got 9 for sure. One bank came back and said 9. So you so happy because you gotta have patience, and you gotta have patience and nerves to steel. Like you have to be able to know when to walk away. And I'm speaking specifically to the ladies out there because they get us hard, and especially if you Black, because a lot of times there's a stereotype that Black women are not patient, and we make it seem true. So they'll be like, oh, I can probably get you 8, but definitely I got 9. You want to roll with that? I mean, it's a great car. You better jump on it. Da 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 da. And you so happy because you went in there thinking you won't go get the car in the first place. Black people be feeling insecure that way. Most of us. And I would say anybody, but speaking of black folks, you be feeling insecure. So you jump on the 9% because one, you're insecure and you don't have patience. And he neglected to tell you that these banks, not only more than one said yes, probably all of them. And he also neglected to tell you, he or she, to be fair, as the car dealer person, they neglected to tell you that, hey, it was arranged between 2 and 9. They picked 9 because guess what? They get a higher commission. When you pay more, they pay more. The difference between somebody with good credit and bad credit is the person with bad credit always pays more. That's it. That is it. So that's a little nugget I wanted to drop on y'all. Ronald Finkley said, I used to live in DC, worked at RFK as a kid. I haven't seen football in 6 years. Wow. I used to live close to that stadium, the new stadium where we used to use it as a shortcut. I don't know the name of it, but I used to drive there all the time. And what about, like, how do you feel about the name Commanders? Do you like it? And what else would you think of? I thought of Washington Natives. You guys tell me what you think. Ronald Finkley said, I remember them being the Skins. Yeah, and I still be saying it, and that's a thing of the past. Yogi is in the building. What's poppin', Queen? Say hello, Miss T. How are you? Just stopping by to say hello and show my support. I feel you, Queen, and I so appreciate it. And get to that homework. Yogi over there trying to get not trying, will do. She will. Speaking in existence, right? She will be doctor one day, very soon. When y'all come in the building, smash the like button. When you enter the square circle, hit that damn like button. Stop reckless eyeballing. I told y'all, I know y'all back there. I see you. I see you on my Facebook. I see you. I seen you. Ronald Finkley. I'd be around 18%. It's funny because I'm a spending person. I was gonna say something else. I'm one of the people that, like, I've gotten so much better. Like, parenthood makes you be more responsible. But I'm a spender. I am. I spend my own shit. So I don't spend nobody else's shit. But I spend my own stuff. But I can give some good financial advice. I just don't all the time. Unless you ask me, I tell you my experience and what I've learned. And I learned a lot of shit from this older white guy who broke all that shit down to me so many years ago. The only reason, like, I literally could go into business counseling people on how to do their money. The reason why I don't, because I think it's hypocritical for me to be a spender and then turn around and tell people how to handle their money. That's why I don't. But I will drop a nugget or two for the free. Ronald Finkley said bad credit. I can tell you how to fix that too. Look, I know how to fix your credit enough for you to go buy what you want. And then, I know some tricks of the trade. But on those notes, y'all gonna have to hit me up through my email for this good counseling. I'm gonna charge a fee. Not a lot, but because I can also give you templates, Ronald, on how you should write your letters. But and this, look, somebody said, why don't you be not here, but before, they was like, why don't you be one of those people who help people fix their credit? It's a lot of work and it's boring and it's tedious, but it's worth it. But it's boring to fix my own shit. But people can have the worst credit. I can tell you how to get your credit good for 30 days, enough to buy you whatever the hell you want. I know exactly how to do it. All right. But like I had some on my lip. But we can fix that bad credit, Ronald. Ronald say, exactly. And you know this. 7 classes left, sis, to Dr. Yogi. Damn straight. Shut your mouth. Ronald Finkley. Congratulations at Yogi. Yogi said, thank you, my Fuel King, M Fuel King, Ronald Finkley. I keep that in mind at Boxer Fans Talk on Advice. Yeah, I drop nuggets for free. Take the free advice. I mean, but yeah, when y'all go buy something, go with your own shit. The best way. It is literally the best way. And a lot of times, like, people don't want to listen, and then but then they'll say, let's see, how did you do this? How did you do that? And I'll be like, I'm trying to tell you. Look at my boy, DJ, what's poppin', King? What's going on?
What's going on, Miss T? How you doing?
I'm good, King. What's up with you?
Not a whole lot. Just waiting on my daughter to come out to this Girl Scout meeting.
Look at you. Got the cookies ready?
Hey, I got the link. I'll send you the link. Need everybody to order some cookies for my baby.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, send them. I'm on them coconut joints. I don't know why.
You talking about the Samoas?
Oh, well,
yeah, that's my youngest. You say hey? I say hey.
Hi, beautiful. Hey, you and Daddy. I be hearing you. You supposed to be asleep sometimes. Ricky Williams is in the building. What's poppin', King?
What's going on? Hey, so, you enjoyed the Bellator card last weekend, huh?
I did. Yeah, I'm gonna finish the update in a second, y'all. But let me kick it with my boy DJ with this Bellator. Yes, the heavyweight had me hyped.
Good fight.
Now, what can you tell me about Bader? Because I ain't know much about him, but I was impressed.
Ryan Bader was a perennial top 5 contender in the UFC a few years ago. He would always get right there to a title shot, but then he'd lose like the number 1 contender fight. So like in boxing, we call them title eliminators or whatever.
Okay.
He'd get to that point and then he'd lose. So finally, when his contract ran up with the UFC, at that time, he was the first group of guys that went over from the UFC to Bellator because they were paying more money. Because Bellator allow you to have your sponsors and all this type of stuff, so they pay more money. Well, he immediately became one of the top guys in Bellator. You know, like I said, he's one of the top light heavyweights in the world. Became the light heavyweight champion after winning the light heavyweight tournament. He became the light heavyweight tournament champion and the light heavyweight champion. He then parlayed that into the heavyweight tournament, where he won the heavyweight tournament and became the heavyweight champion. So he was a 2-weight world champion in Bellator when it started at the time. Now, he's had some hard luck in the light heavyweight division, but I take that as him, just getting older and cutting down to 205 pounds just like it did for him anymore. He had been knocked out his last 2 fights at light heavyweight. So now as a heavyweight, he was still the heavyweight champion, and he's fighting the heavyweight tournament winner in Moldavsky, who he won the interim championship while Bader was competing in the light heavyweight championship. So it was only right that he fought him next. And he's a protege of Fedor Emelianenko, who is widely considered to be the greatest MMA heavyweight of all time. Ryan Bader knocked him out in the finals of the heavyweight championship a couple years ago. So Moldavsky and the now light heavyweight champion in Bellator, who may possibly be the best light heavyweight on the planet in MMA, and Vadim Nemkov, they're both proteges of Fedor Emelianenko. Nemkov knocked out Ryan Bader and took his belt in light heavyweight. Now he just fought Moldavsky and beat him in a close fight to keep his heavyweight championship. So Ryan Bader's always been a good fighter. He just couldn't beat guys like Daniel Cormier, John Jones, guys like he just couldn't beat him. He just couldn't beat him.
Maybe
So
being on Bellator might make a difference. Let me get these chats.
yeah, it's made a huge difference. Like I said, he was a 2-weight world champion over there in Bellator. Now he's still the reigning, defending heavyweight champion.
Let me get, because I got a couple of questions to ask you. Let me get these chat right quick, because I know you got homework. I have an 800 plus credit score. The key is to living within your means. They look at the debt to income ratio. If you pay your bills on time, yeah, that's true. You gotta live between your means and all that. But like what I was talking about as well is I knew how to write certain letters that will make people take stuff off your credit report. I have templates, and for a small fee, I'll share them.
All right. And Miss C, I'm gonna hit you back in a second. I'm driving. I'll hop back on as soon as I get back home.
Cool. Yeah, I got a couple of questions. I had a good time, and I set it up to take Bellator every time.
Okay, I got you.
All right. Ronald Finkley said, "Man, I can't get into MMA, but that Francis guy got my attention because of his story of getting here." Yeah, I mean, it's I like Bellator. I'm seeing that I like Bellator more, Ronald. And Yogi said, "I appreciate it, King Finkley. Keep supporting my sister, Miss T. She's good people." Thank you, Yogi, and thank you, King. Oh, most definitely, I will. John Jones was tough, but those guys was giving him problems, but made for exciting fights. And yes, on Thursdays, me and DJ gonna chop it up about MMA type, Bellator type fight. I'm new to this because it was for me, it was a little vulgar, MMA wrestling, and I thought it was too much for me. Like my first introduction, that is. So I'm willing to try to change, because I mean, look what boxing doing to us. It's not doing us a service, They doing us a disservice, to be in fact. So it's just a happy alternative. And let me get through this Keith stuff. But when Keith did his final press conference, as I say, I looked at him. I chop it up to new baby in the house, probably a hands-on type father, and he's 33, and he's very light complected. Keith Thurman's mom is white, his dad is black. He's very fair-skinned, and ages show up differently on fair-skinned people more so than dark-skinned people. He's 33, and in boxing, that's his body. He's taking some damage, but he got some great legs, and that's what you need to have as a boxer. So I think in the end of the day, Keith is going to show up and show out in this fight. Do he have stomach issues? Now, you hear a lot of these fighters around their early 30s saying, "I got a nutritionist now." They say this stuff because they realize and understand now they're not no spring chicken. They in a sport that demands that they be healthy at all times, and they see now they get injured quicker, but it takes longer to heal. So I believe that he looks in great shape, only except for the little puffiness under the eyes. It's not even dark circles. Now, if it was very dark under his eyes, I might feel a certain kind of way. But it's just puffiness. And I mean, he'll be just up all night with the baby. Who knows? But he did drop one nugget. I think with Fight Hype after the press conference, he said, they was asking him questions and all that. As I said before, Keith is very charismatic. He can sell fights. Demetrius said, he wouldn't mind seeing a fight with him and Earl Spence. Granted, if these guys like Earl Spence, Keith Thurman, all of these guys fight, Miss T gonna find a way to see the fight. Miss T just ain't buying no PBC fights. That don't mean Miss T won't go to the bar. Miss T won't go over somebody's house and be like, Cotton Pete, little Lucky, remember, look, what y'all doing up in here? I'm gonna see the fight, but I'm just not gonna buy it. You know what I'm saying? So these fighters, I would not mind seeing Keith and Earl, but let me be real clear. If they come with the BS and try to make a Keith and Earl fight, I feel like I'll be done with PBC. Just real talk. If y'all go to the zone when they be putting on their fights, them little nuggets that come on in the beginning of the main event, those be some good little fights. They be really, really good fights. And I mean, nail biters. Sometimes I get up. If I stand up and stand in front of the TV, I feel like I'm in the damn ring with them. Smash the like button, people. Smash the damn like button. I keep seeing the number jump up, then jump down. It jumps up, and then it jumps down. Y'all reckless eyeballing. All y'all do is just come in and support the system. It's going to be much appreciated. Smash the like button, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And a story break right here. A timeout, a flag on the play. I am going to give away a 55-inch Samsung Smart TV, Color TV, QLED, when I get to 1,200 subscribers. So tell all your friends, because I'm going to mail it to you. Some people are excluded from playing. But damn, so if you're in the 48, you got it. I will mail this bad boy to you. Now, I tried to give it away on Christmas. Nobody won the raffle. So it's sitting downstairs. I still have it. So, hey, tell your friends, help me get my subscription up. Y'all think that I wouldn't mail it? I will. And all you got to do is answer 3, maybe 4 questions about, what I've said thus far in my podcast. If you've been watching, you'll know the answer. Back to Keith. That's coming, y'all. But I ain't doing it till I get to 1,200 subscribers. So, he did drop a nugget. He said, he posed a good question. He said, why did the boy, because they asked him something like, will Barrio seem like he's sure? Do you think Barrio's going, whatever, whoop the whoop? And Keith was like, look, basically, he didn't say, I see fear. I'm paraphrasing or I'm putting my stank on it. He didn't say, I think the boy's scared. But he kind of said that. Because he's saying, the boy wants to wear 10-ounce gloves. Now, we all know that 147 and below, they normally wear 8-ounce gloves. You don't get the 10-ounce gloves until you move up in weight. Keith Thurman has spent his whole career at 147. That means he's always wore 8-ounce gloves. Mario Barrios is coming up in weight. That means he's always wore 8-ounce gloves. Who do you believe more? Is it Keith trying to pick the 10-ounce? Because apparently they're going to be fighting in 10-ounce. Or is it Mario? Because the smaller the glove, the harder you feel that punch. And we know Keith is called one time for a reason. So who do you believe is the culprit for making them wear 10-ounce gloves? And here's the thing, which I did not know. So shout out to Keith Thurman because he dropped that nugget. In the state of Nevada, both parties have to agree on the glove size. If one don't agree, then you have to go to the next size. You just do. So by Mario requesting 10 ounces and Keith saying, now let's do the 8. Then it has to be 10 because they both have to say, yeah, we're going to do the 8 or we're going to do the 10. Now, I'm sure they can't go no higher than that. But Keith said, why don't y'all ask him why he wants the heavier gloves, which is not that much heavy, but it means it'll be a little bit more cushion. Some fighters can pick that to protect their hands because over time fighters' hands be brittle. Keith has some hand problems in his past, but Keith put that out on Front Street, and Mario didn't. And then now Mario's team is saying, no, that's not true. But who do y'all believe? That's my thing. Who do y'all believe? Ronald Fakely said gyms. See, that's the thing. It would be okay if I had actual bars that just let you pay a $5 fee or a movie theater situation. Here, I'd have no problem paying 10. Sometimes some little chicken wing bars. Y'all don't have, I don't know where you are, Ronald, but like sport bars are changing. all the time. Like you got Buffalo Wings, what is it called? Wild Wings, places like that. But then you got places that do a lot of chicken and burgers, but a lot of places now are putting up TVs in their establishment. I went to a seafood place. I don't eat seafood, but that's where the party was. And they had TVs up in there. They had a little bar that was separated from the other parts where you could sit down. And I asked the person to put on boxing, and they went like to Netflix. They were looking everywhere. I said they ain't gonna be on Netflix, but they had ESPN Plus. They had ESPN. I mean, they was going everywhere. We didn't find it, but they was willing to change the channel. Applebee's. There you go, Ronald. Applebee's. $80 and no chance of getting a greater pay-per-view next. And the problem is the problem. Like I said, me and Shelton talked about this yesterday. Keith should go back to fighting on ABC, NBC, CBS, one of those free networks, just to reintroduce himself to the crowd. Because Keith is the type of guy, you got to keep it real. He's the type of guy who can pull casuals. Not everybody can do that. You know, he just can't. He's charismatic, number one. Hands down, he is. Number two, he has the complexion for the protection. Let's not dismiss the elephant in the room. He does have that. But his mouthpiece. When you put all of that stuff together, he's a nice looking man, as I told you. I mean, even guys, and this is like how y'all say it, no homo or whatever. Even y'all guys can look at Keith and that's a nice looking dude. I gotta admit. So and that might just be, it's nothing homosexual about that if a guy sees that in another guy. But it might be like, okay, I'd rather look at him. Because, you know, when things are an eyesore, it's a turn off. Keeping it real, y'all. Just keeping it real. Don't get mad at Miss T. Just keeping it real, because it's hard for Miss T to talk around stuff, because I'm getting a certain age, I be forgetting. So that's why I said, like, I can't lie, I can't BS y'all, because I forget what I said. Then y'all be like, Miss T, you said this. Nah, look, he's not, he's easy on the eyes. For everybody, he's charismatic, and he has a mouthpiece, meaning talking, man. He's talking about nothing else. And you throw all that together, the dude is going to sell. Because when I say appeasing on the eye for even guys, think about it like this. You have a lot of people that just straight up won't watch black fighters. They just won't. They won't. But Keith Thurman is, you don't know where he fits in. If you don't know him, you don't know what he could be. So people have a gravitational pull towards him. Smash the like button, y'all, as y'all come in the square circle. Somebody lying. I have my thoughts. It will come out tomorrow after the weigh-in. Demetrius, I think Barrios did. I'm gonna just go on and say it. I think Barrios did request that, because Keith, that's all he's ever fought at. The only thing new in this equation, Demetrius, is Barrios coming up to this weight class. For real. I think DJ said a while ago that Barrios fought at this weight class before. I don't know. Ronald Fickle said 10 ounce, because Barrios don't want to feel Keith Paul's. Exactly. Mundo. Yeah, no bars here or theaters catered to boxing. Ronald, you don't have an Applebee's. Keith looked like a white boy. Yeah, he is a chameleon. He can fit in anywhere. Except, I don't know about Asian, but people can look at him and identify with him. I never truly knew his nationality. His mother is a white woman, like a Bulgarian, Hungarian type person. She's from States, but I'm just saying what she descended from. And his dad is a regular black guy from America. That is what Keith is mixed with. Keith did a lovely piece through Fight Hype when he talked about growing up being mixed and just how he feel about the world. Because real talk, there's only one race, and it's the human race. To get That's a long conversation. America makes distinctions. Other countries never did. We have taught other countries to be like us and be racist and make a big to do about dividing people and putting people in categories. But naturally speaking, we're the only ones who do this. As I said before, if you went to Dominican, he said, "Well, what are you?" "I'm Dominican." If you go to Jamaica, he said, "What are you?" "I'm Jamaican." It doesn't matter their color or whatever. I'm Jamaican. We are the one. No, no. I mean, we're racy. That was America. The world caught on, though, unfortunately. But that's the question I want to know. Who asked for the 10 ounce? Who asked for it? And that matters. Do y'all think it matters? What y'all think? Ronald said, "Cool." But you right, Demetrius. We're going to find out about it. Now, I'm going to go back to something I didn't talk about yesterday. And I meant to the other day. Okay. Really, my thumbnail. Canelo, is Canelo may be stringing us along. Y'all know that, right? Am I breaking news here when I say that? Canelo just might be stringing us along. And there's a lot of reasons why I feel that way. Ronald Finkley, American ways are manipulated on other countries for sure. Yeah. And the inconvenient truth is America would not be the superpower that it is. I think it's declined a little, but it is still a superpower. It wouldn't be a superpower and have this status. And trust me, every American in this biatch love our status and love how we get down. They just have a lot of misdirected anger these days. A lot of chaos is going on. A lot of anarchy is reigning supreme right now. All of that has a shelf life. But America wouldn't be the powerhouse that they are without having the history that they have. To include, first and foremost, slavery. Every country out there that is a super powerhouse is because of free labor. Free labor, i.e. slavery. That's how people get to come up. That's how America got to come up, off the backs of slaves. Good talk. He said that's the topic that got my attention. Canelo. Yep. Status is subjective. Yep. Canelo, so he's stringing us along. For sure, I believe. McAdoo had his fight and didn't impress. Didn't impress nobody. One second, DJ. Let me get the Canelo because that was my topic. The whole time.
Okay.
All right. So McAdoo did not impress nobody from what people say who saw his fight. And he felt like he was auditioning for Canelo. How weird is that? You are a cruiserweight in a whole nother division, a champion, and you gotta call yourself auditioning for Canelo because he said as much. I'm paraphrasing. Canelo desperately wants to fight with dude. He just does. He just don't know how he's gonna sell it. Canelo has not wavered from wanting to get with McAdoo. He just don't know how he can sell it. Even his friends recoiled at that idea. McAdoo wanted to, because McAdoo wants the money. Now, who could blame anybody for the money? McAdoo can have 5 belts, and we know it's only 4. What it is 5? He can have 6 belts, and we know it's only technically 5 belts out there to have. He ain't gonna sell shit. And I hate to say that like that because don't nobody know him. He's a champion. Don't nobody know him. And he's in one of them weird weight classes. Cruiserweight is cool, but how you gonna pay attention in the cruiserweight when you're looking at the heavyweight? Well, for Canelo, it's gonna be a big to do, and that's what he wants. But even his fans, like I said, was like, And they are saying that they're not sure who they're gonna fight, meaning Team Canelo. You still not sure? What you waiting on? So Canelo won't fight David Benavidez, and this is why. He don't bring too much to the table. This is what Canelo's team say about David Benavidez. But McAdoo do. He has never held a title. I was like, Canelo, you need to do your research. Or Team Canelo, do your research. And then they, in the same breath, said he had a title twice. The only title he had, he lost one on the scale and one for drugs. If that's not the pot calling the kettle black, you really gonna criticize somebody for drugs? And David Benavidez did take recreational drugs, i.e., cocaine. But Canelo, you took man's substance. But that's why they don't fight David, because he's not credible. In other words, he lost it again and failed on the drug test, all in the same breath. Nerves of steel. His team Canelo, and I basically I wrote this thing like he got the nerves of steel to criticize somebody on that. All he say is Charlos a cool fight, and this is what he said about Charlos. Charlos a cool fight. He liked working with the PBC. That's all he can say. That's all he can say. Even though people want that fight too. He said his resume is questionable. What? Talking about Jamal Charlo, he says his resume is questionable. The level of his wins. The pot calling the kettle black. And Team Canelo want they want that to stick. They just putting that narrative out because that's gonna be their out, just in case you didn't know. Then you got Triple G. I'm almost done, DJ. Then you got Triple G. Oh, he's older. He's an easy fight for Canelo. Well, if he's an easy fight him. Triple G wants to reschedule his Murado fight because I guess I didn't even know what happened with that, but they fell out. That fight failed, whatever. So Canelo is carrying himself like a diva. This is what I'm starting to believe. He carries himself like a diva or a prima donna, a princess, a spoiled princess at that. And boxing lets him get away with it. They really let him get away with it. So, he has an excuse for Andre. We know that he's been ducking Andre for years. David Morale, he got an excuse for him. He's inexperienced. I mean, Canelo and his team have come out and said this in an article. And of course, they're not talking to Jake Paul because, he's not legit. And Gilberto Ramirez, which would be a good fight. And I know Gilberto wants that smoke. But you know why they'll never fight? Because he's a fellow Mexican. Now, how that makes sense to anybody but Team Canelo? Who cares if the dude is from your country? You just sound crazy, but we let him get away with it. And that's why I say he's stringing us along. He really wants that McAfee fight. And if y'all believe anything differently, that's on you guys. Because I don't see it. So, DJ, let's hit that Bellator. What's up?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, look at it. Now, I noticed they kept talking about Bader. I'm sorry, y'all. I went segue like a motherfucker, but hey, here we go. Let me get started first. Let me be respectful. Put some respect on it, because they be in here in the chat. America ways manipulate other countries for sure. That's the topic that got my attention. Status is subjective. Canelo out cheer like a rock star, just like Floyd was lining them up. It's clearly about his popularity only, pretty much. But we let him get away with it. All we gotta do is stop. These other boxers are too caught up and realize their fan base is very limited. You have to do the groundwork yourself these days. More boxers are. Some of them just don't get it. They want to get the perks and all that of Floyd. They don't want to do everything that Floyd did. And
everybody want to be Money Mayweather. Don't nobody want to be Pretty Boy.
Nobody want to be Pretty Boy. Triple G needs to give it a rest. I feel y'all, but I always say it for person. Who was that fighter recently, DJ? That it was Chisora. It was like, man, hang it up. He was like, man, fuck you. I hang it up.
Triple G is at the stage of his career where he wants one more big cash out fight before he walks out the door. And I think that's why he went after the Murata fight. If it was just about unifying then he would have stayed here and unified with Demetrius Andrade. They would have fought probably about last August or September, and he probably would have had another belt or probably would have lost his belt, but it wouldn't have been as lucrative as it was to fight, as lucrative as it would be fighting Murata over in Japan. Because by all accounts, from what I'm hearing in this boxing community, Murata's a star over in Japan. So, and I know that arena that they were going to fight in, Saitama Super Arena, is their Madison Square Garden. So,
guess who else want to fight him? Sergio Martinez.
Okay.
And he 46.
Right. So I mean, it's at the point now where I've given up on Triple G. First of all, I don't think very highly of him because I think he's a complete manifestation of HBO. I think he was created by HBO, just like what the Klitschko's were actually good. So Triple G, outside of Danny Jacobs, and Canelo, who arguably he won that first fight against Canelo, and Canelo beat him the second time, in my opinion. His 3 toughest fights, arguably, he lost 2 of them. So, I mean, I never really thought that highly of Triple G, man. And now, seeing as how Demetrius Andrade was in the same weight class as him for years, and he never tried to unify with him, didn't want that fight. I'm not even going to get on Charlo because Charlo did some ducking himself. So, that'll be like the pot called the kettle black, so to speak. So, Demetrius Andrade wanted that fight. They were over there on the same network. They were under the same promotional banner, and he never got that fight. He never gave Demetrius Andrade that fight, so I'm done with it. I don't care who he fights. He never tried to unify with Demetrius Andrade. I don't care who he fights.
It would not surprise me in the near future or years from now, they'd be like, Triple G was on some shit. Like, that will never shock me. And I feel like
it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all if I found out he was on the soft. So,
because I just don't believe it. But then Charlo, if Charlo and Canelo get that fight, Charlo, you've been bent over too much. It's the hand way too many times, and it's gonna hurt you in the long run. It's like how y'all was talking about Caleb. I'm good, right? I'm good. Spike, come fight. Remember that? That's how.
I mean, Andrew Charles responding to your comment. I don't know if he's a draw like that. I really don't. But again, that's why he's fighting a Japanese champion over in Japan, trying to get that money.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where he's at. Same thing with Keith Thurman. I think Keith Thurman's looking for one more big cash out fight before he gets out the sport. I thought he was semi-retired anyway. Anytime somebody takes damn near 3 years off, whether it's injuries or what, he's semi-retired. That's why I'm really hoping Mario Barrios bashes him, because I don't want him to cut the Miss T. I don't want him to cut the line.
Right,
I don't want him to cut the line.
I don't want that to happen. Me and Demetrius do have a shared interest of. I would love to see Keith and Earl chop it up, but I don't want it better than I want Earl and Earl and Bud. I don't want Keith cutting the line either. I'm not actually buying this, DJ. But
according to Spence Jr., he don't want nothing to do with it. When you had the opportunity to give me a shot, you didn't give me a shot, so why should I give you one? You need to do more. He's a young pup. All this type of stuff that he was telling me. It was like, man, he didn't want to give me a shot, so why should I give him a shot? That's why he was saying tables turn and all this type of stuff that EJ was saying. So, if Errol Spence don't want to give him the title shot, I have no problem with that.
But that's a long conversation. But I'm just gonna say, like, sometimes I think the egos and the pride, they be a little bit too sensitive. The box, if that's the top guy, I need y'all all to mix it up. I just want to see the best fight the best. And unfortunately, Keith Thurman, like, I know how y'all feel, and like I say on here, the way it looks, one can make those arguments. Whenever y'all hear me say one can make those arguments, meaning I can't really refute the person's analogy or how they see something, because one can make that argument. I can just only tell you, for me personally, Keith Thurman is still up there on my top echelon as the top tier fighter in 147, because I'm looking at his accomplishments and what he did in the ring. That's it. All the stuff outside the ring, You know, one could argue, like, we have to either go by what he said, or one can argue what it looked like. So I'm not mad at anybody how they feel about Keith Thurman. If they feel like he has some tomfoolery with him.
Yeah. I don't have anything personal against Keith Thurman because I don't know the guy. It's just strictly inactivity for me. Like, for somebody to fight as little as he fights, whether it's injuries or just no interest in the fights that he's been offered, because I personally believe that Keith Thurman has been offered fights over these past 3 years, or these past 2.5 years, or whatever. However long, I think it's been, what, 2.5 years now? I think he's been offered fights, and I think he's turned them down, trying to just save his, quote unquote, save his spot in line so he could take one fight and get a title shot. And I do not agree with that. You got guys in here, even the young guys. You got these young guys in here, these young killers like Virgil, which I think he's right behind Boots Ennis as far as the young guys. You got a guy who can't get a fight like Speedy Rasheed Ellis. You got Josh Taylor about to move up to welterweight. All of these guys are well deserving of title shots, and I don't want a guy who's been sitting on the bench, just quote unquote hold his spot for 3 years. Just come back, take one fight against a guy who's moving back up to 147 from 140, and immediately, get his name back in the mix. I do not agree with that as a fan. I don't think that's right, and that's why I really hope Barrios takes him off the board.
Hey, we're gonna see.
That's just where I am with Keith Thurman.
We're gonna see. I hear you, King. I mean, that's so look. Okay, I kept hearing the commentator. Look how I segue into it again. Like, it wasn't smooth, y'all. That's why I keep saying hit the smash button, the like button, smash the like button when you come in the square circle. But look, so they kept saying Bader, he's just better at heavyweight. Like when he was at lightweight, and you kind of alluded to what it like his life story, kind of what he did. I found him remarkable. And they look nasty and sweaty. What's the other guy named Madowski or whatever?
Yeah, Madowski, yeah.
I'm looking at them like, yuck. But,
yeah, it was a tough. That's one of those tough, grueling fights where it was a lot of things in the grappling exchanges that you see. People trying to, guys were both trying to hold their ground, so to speak. You see little subtleties in their grappling. How this guy's holding his wrist so he can't get control of him. It's just certain things that they were doing to one another. They were very equally matched, but in the end, Ryan Bader did enough to get that decision. Now you get some people out here who feel like Madowski won that fight. Personally, I don't think he did. I thought it was the right call. I thought Bader won 48-47, 3 rounds to 2. I think he controlled the fight. I think he won the second, the fourth, the fourth, and the fifth.
I thought he actually did something good in the first, because then he clocked his.
Well, yeah. First,
yeah.
First, third, and fifth. I'm sorry.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he almost stopped him in the first round.
Yeah, he did. Now,
yeah.
Remember how I told you I had a problem with the 5-minute 5-rounders, because I don't know.
Yeah, those are championship fights only. Fights only.
Okay, and I was like, I don't know these guys, so I'm thinking sitting there like MMA. I was like, man, that's kind of a lot for somebody just starting out. And so with Bellator, when I'm watching them, most of them were 3 rounds, but then I remember you said those were championship rounds. Now this Bader was 5 rounds, and I was on the edge of my seat. I ain't gonna lie. So what I want to ask you is, even though I know, so I'm just going to some of the stuff that they was doing. Even though I know that I can understand it'll give somebody leverage to hold on to the gate. Why do you have a time limit, or why you can't hold on to the gate? Like, you using other stuff as leverage. Why you can't hold on to the gate?
Because you can stop somebody from taking you down. If somebody grabs a hold of you and about to slam you, and you grab the gate, you can stop that momentum from them taking you down. Or you can gain more leverage in striking. If you hold in the fence and you got your body leaning up against somebody, if you're holding up against the fence, they can't escape. You're using something other than your grappling to hold them in position. That's why it's illegal to hold the fence.
Now, in this fight, y'all, let me tell y'all, you can see the heart of these men.
Mm-hmm.
like I said, yuck, because they was nasty and sweaty looking. But let me tell you, because
It wasn't bloody. It wasn't bloody. I've seen fights like that where it's bloody.
But it wasn't gory. They were digging in deep. This guy Bader, what he was able to discern in certain parts of the fight, because you're right. As I look at the fight, just looking at it from a street value point of view, I think Bader kicked his ass. But then if you're looking at it point values, I don't know all the points. But to me, it's boring just to take them down and just lay on them. That's essentially, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not very pleasing to watch, but the unified rules of MMA, it's all based on striking, grappling, effective aggression, and cage control. When you take somebody and you just lay on them, that's considered cage. I would say octagon, but octagon is exclusive to UFC. So I'm going to say it's considered cage control. When you take somebody and you lay on them, that's considered you controlling them, because they really don't want to be there. And if you're just holding them down and they can't get up, that's part of the story. That's why as long as you're on your back, you're losing, because somebody's controlling. It's perceived they're controlling you, and you don't want to be in that position. That's how Clarissa lost her last fight.
So is it the time limit, like for every 30 seconds, that's a point? Or is it just, just you on your back?
It's just you on your back. The longer you stay there, the longer, because they calibrate that too. They count that too.
Okay.
You'll see some promotions, like the UFC will put it up there. This person's got they got 3 minutes and 30 seconds worth of cage control. You've dominated that round.
Oh, so
in the judge's eyes, yeah.
So laying on your back is kind of like how we say ring generalship in boxing.
Pretty much. It's the same thing in boxing. If I had to equate it to anything, if your back was against the ropes and you were barely throwing any punches, that person's controlling the ring.
Oh, okay.
It's the same thing as if they're holding them up against the cage. That person's controlling your movement in the ring.
Now, it seemed like Meldowski was a lot powerful, because he, like I said, he basically put him down and laid on him. Well, when he had him, what I liked about Bader, the heart of this man. He dug deep, he get up, he turned them hips, and then he had the fortitude to know to hold this dude in the head. So all that bowing that he was doing at the end of that, I think the last round, that amounted to some points. Is that what happened?
That's considered effective striking. That's considered effective, because as long as you don't hit him in the back of the head, that's legal. He was putting it right on that ear. And trust me, Miss T, I've seen guys go to sleep like that. Because if you hitting them right on that ear or right on the temple, that affects your equilibrium. And I've seen guys go to sleep. I'm telling you.
And Meldowski, when he was laying on him, and he was doing something that I guess he should, he didn't do it right away in the beginning rounds, but I want to say second or third round, he would get him down, and then he just kind of threw the knee in. Now I was like, why you ain't coming from Mississippi with that knee? But you know what? Then I started thinking, you do that one too many times, you're gonna effectively nullify that day.
Right.
Yeah. So.
It's you can knee them as long as they're if they're on the ground, you can knee them to the body, you can knee them in the legs. But every strike that you take or every strike that you throw, you're giving that opponent an opening to get up. So you want to keep them striking, keep their hands busy, keep them blocking to keep their focus off trying to get up. Because if they do try to get up, one part of trying to get up off the ground is you open yourself up to either get submitted, you open your neck up to get choked out, or you throw an arm out there that can grab hold of that arm and snap your arm off. Mm-hmm. So it's a risk in trying to get up. That's why you got to use proper technique. There's proper techniques to getting up off your back.
Exactly. You can say
you don't want to use too much power and explosion, because if you keep doing that, eventually you'll get tired. And it'll become easier and easier for them to take you down and hold you down.
I would tell everybody that come in here, you gotta start watching the Bellators. They come on Showtime. And I'm gonna tell you, DJ can tell you, I was kind of like, I don't know about the MMA, because it really wasn't my thing. And then it was too gory. But I like Bellator. I actually enjoy. I watched the whole card. Do I remember these names or anything? No. But hold on, DJ. Let me get some of these chats out. Let me put some.
Okay.
Canelo pro-Mexican. So you think he wants to fight his fellow Mexicans a payday? He ain't that pro-Mexican. I really haven't figured out why he don't do that. Man, that one boggles me. Ronald said, yes, sir, Triple G was protected and journalists weren't even allowed to ask about Andre. It seemed when he signed to the zone, I believe. He got that complexion for the protection. Ronald said, if Thurman provoked Spence into a fight, that would be bananas. We all want to see that though, don't we? But some people is like what DJ said, but some of us be like, man, I wish I just could have seen it. Because I can't let go of the old Keith Thurman. I don't know, so much more has to happen before I be like, man, you're a shell of yourself. Ronald said Canelo Pro himself. Exactamundo. You guys, when you come into the square circle, please hit the like button, please, and subscribe if you haven't. Stop reckless eyeballing, because DJ, I get it, and there's damn near like 60 people in here. Stop reckless eyeballing. Just come on in and hook us a stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Miss T, nobody in any pro sport, nobody is who they were 6 years ago. This Keith Thurman is not the Keith Thurman, is not the same Keith Thurman from 2016. It's not. Nobody's who they were 6 years ago.
No, he's not.
I know it's hard to let it go. I know it's hard to let it go.
He look drained and stuff. I was like, yeah, old age. He's 33
He looks like he's in shape, though. He looks like he's coming ready to fight. Looks like he's not taking this fight lightly at all. He looks like he's in shape. That's why I want Barrios to get his full credit when he say it. What does this fight do for Barrios if he wins, though?
It will cement him like a welcome to the division type thing. I think it will legitimize him. You know what I'm saying? In a way. And then him fighting a scrub in this. Well, we don't need. I can't even think of a scrub in the 147, but I'm sure they're out there. But if he was to walk into the division fighting a scrub, we'd be like, he's really still a 140 pounder. But I think Keith gives him legitimacy for him. For Keith, Barrios gives him that tune-up or that warm-up. And that's all that can be gained for me looking at it for real. You know, it gives him that warm-up, not literally the ring rust. Because Keith, you know, this could be a moment when you say Keith put his foot in his mouth, because he said, look, with me, I get my ring rust off in the gym. I don't know.
You get some fighters out there like for example, Dominic Cruz over in the UFC. He had a lot of injuries. He's a former bantamweight champion, 135 pounds in MMA. He's a former, two-time bantamweight champion. And if he didn't have the worst luck with injuries, I'm talking about he'd blow his ACL out at one knee, come back, have one fight, blow his ACL out in the other knee in training, come back, have another fight, then he blow his knee out again in the other knee. He missed probably about 3 or 4 years in his prime with just injury. And he would always come back and look great in all of his fights, because he was one of the main guys who said he does not believe in ring rust. It's all about your preparation. If you prepare the right way, if you come in shape, like cardio will get you a long way in combat sports. Right. It will take you a long way. If you can take the punishment, if you can take the shots, it will take you a long way. But yeah, he's one of the guys who does not believe in ring rust at all. I believe, I equate it to everyday life. If you only did your job once every year or once every 2 years, how good would you be at your job?
That's fair enough. But
I mean, you can fix on cars, or you can do all that stuff at home. But once you're on the clock and everybody's watching you, because you can't throw that part out there, the nerves kick in. It's like, oh snap, this is different from me being in my garage or being in the gym, where it's just guys who I see every day, I'm training with every day, I know all their tendencies, I know what I got to come in and do, rather than, hey, there might be thousands of people in the arena, there's millions of people watching, the lights hit you, and you hadn't done this in a while, so all of this feels foreign to you. How are you going to react?
The one thing I would give Keith Thurman is I feel like we got to give him muscle memory, because the Keith that we knew, even when he fought the fight that he lost, Keith can scrap, and Keith has great legs. And I think, just from coaching boxing, I can tell you, if you don't have the legs, it's like almost a waste of time. You have folks in the gym, and I remember this guy, like, his heart is big. Love him to death. We call him, I ain't even say his name, but heart is big, and he's in the military, so he got his niche. How people say, don't quit your day job. That's what I was saying. Don't, because just trying to coordinate and get his feet moving the way it's supposed to is almost like an impossibility. But I mean, the man has heart. He'll be in there. He'll work out just as hard as anybody else. He do that road work. He's just a physical beast, Can't move the legs to save his life. And I'm gonna tell you, I put on the gloves, and I be like, y'all remember, I'm a bitch up in here. That's what I be saying when I'm in there with the guys. And then I'm just like holding the mitts or something, or I'm just trying to get him to move. I'm like, they gonna dancing. So I try to get in front of him. And man, I was like, dude, all right, don't hit me hard, because you're still a man, I'm still a woman. But we're gonna throw our hands. So we would throw our hands, and I would meet. How the fuck am I beaten? I want
to something that'll be something I believe has to happen in this fight. Barrios has to jump on him in the first 5 rounds of this fight. You gotta test his conditioning. You gotta test his chin. You gotta test that muscle memory, because you've been in the gym with people who have not been trying to knock you out, unless, to segue back to MMA for a second, you have a trainer like Faraz Sahabi, who was George St. Pierre, who a lot of people consider the greatest welterweight in UFC history. Personally, for me, it's now Kamaru Usman, but for a lot of people who still consider George St. Pierre the greatest welterweight in UFC history, his trainer used to pay his sparring partners, be like, some days they come in easy, we just gonna work on movement, this, that, and the third. And other days he come in and tell these guys, these young prospects, George St. Pierre's sparring partner, I'll pay you $5K if you knock him out. He'll go behind George's back, he'll take him in the locker room, look, I got $5K or I got $10K for whoever knocks him out. And George St. Pierre wouldn't know that. So he'd have to adjust. He was like, George, we're gonna go light today. No headgear, or put your headgear on. We're just gonna go light today, and the sparring partner would come out and try to kill him. So he'd really take his sparring partners in the back and tell them, hey, look, I got $5K or I got $10K for whoever knocks him out. Y'all go for it.
Good. That's actually good. Yeah. You know who else did that inadvertently and wasn't strategic with that, but inadvertently did that to this person their whole life? Terrence Crawford's mother.
Terrence Crawford's mother. Yeah. I've heard that story.
Yeah. So
whoever whooped my son, yeah.
Like, and she was serious. Like, I believe she was doing the best she can. Probably spend more time as a single parent, because I know his dad is in his life, but I don't know if his dad was always there. I know they say he was off in the military. But I think she did the best she could. And when you listen to her, she said, I wanted my son to be a man. Period. Right. I know a lot of people like that. Like, and I salute them, like ladies who have sons and they single parents. And like my homegirls, they don't sugarcoat, they don't coddle. It's such a breath of fresh air. Like, I know your daughter's got you wrapped around their finger.
Yeah, of course.
As it should be. Because I'm still like that with my dad. I'd be like, Daddy.
Right.
But
I know anytime they hit me, Daddy, how much money this gonna cost me?
I love it. But when I come up, my mom be like, Mommy, girl, what? That's how mothers is with their daughter. My daughter.
That's how mothers are with their daughters. My daughter just turned 9 the other day.
Oh,
and her and my wife, my oldest daughter just turned 9, and her and my wife are already starting to go through that mother-daughter relationship. Then that starts to change. So they're starting to go through that now. So it's gonna be real interesting once she hits 13, 14. Then hit 16, so it's going to be crazy. I've always said, I don't know how I'm going to raise teenage girls, but, I'll get through it.
You're going to look at your wife, you're going to get mad and be like, how you let her do this? It's simple with me. And your wife gonna be like, I don't know why you don't understand. It's not. It's different.
Yeah, I just kind of laugh. I just kind of laugh and turn my head. It's like, that's between y'all. Don't look at me.
I know, leave me out of it. My name Bennett, and I ain't in it.
Right. My daughter be looking. She'll be looking at me for help, and I'm like, she looking at me for? You heard your mama?
Girl, like my daddy never.
I'm not getting in that.
He never dethroned my mom. But see, this is one thing I would say. The biggest advice I would tell dads to daughters is tell them the truth, because a daughter looks at you as daddy. You can tell them, I was a hoe. I was, tactfully, of course. I was bad. I was a womanizer. I was this, that, and other. Men are afraid to tell their daughters that. But here's the thing. We don't look at y'all as womanizers. We only see daddy. So you can tell us any story. You can tell us you took a hill in the war and killed off 30 people, and we don't give a shit. We see daddy.
Yeah, uphill both ways. Had to walk to school 15 miles uphill both ways.
Yeah, we don't care. Like, we see daddy. So my dad would his advice to men would be like, what can make you laugh and make you cry? What you looking at him for? That's not helping me. That's not putting me up on game. But I think he knows that now. But it's like your daughter's grown before you realize it. But I would say, I only tell them the truth. Look, I know they dogs out there because I was a dog. Roof. This is what I wanted to do. Roof. And your daughter be like, really? This how niggas is? For real, daddy? Okay. And she'll be hip to the game. And you'll save her a lot of headaches. Because like my dad, to get him, all I had to do was say my stomach hurt.
Yeah, my daughters, they know. I think my 2-year-old knows, and definitely my oldest daughter knows. It's this look that they give me, and I can't do it. I'll turn away when I really want to say no because I can't look at them because they know I'll melt. But just going back to that Terrence Crawford story, I went through a similar thing where like I was about 12. Let's say 12, 13 years old, and I drove my go-kart down to the park, right? Shoot basketball, play football, whatever kids were doing there. And one of the kids from the neighborhood hopped in my go-kart and took off on me. And I knew, just knowing my grandmother, I knew I couldn't go home without it. I had to go get that. So fast forward, make a long story short, the cops brought me home. I got mud and dirt all in my head. You know, when we found him, he was in the ditch fighting 3 other boys. I couldn't go home without that go-kart. And I think it's a lot of parents who would handle that a lot differently today. But I just knew then, even, being a adolescent or a teenager, I knew then I can't go home without my stuff. Because not only am I going to get an ass whooping from my grandmama, but then if she has to go get it, I'm not going to get it back.
Oh, shit. It was like domino effect in my generation. Your teacher whipped your ass, your mama whipped your ass, then she called your dad over and he whipped your ass. So all on one incident, you get 3 ass whoopings. That's how it used to be back in the day. But hold on.
Oh, no, they were just going to tell my grandma. It was like, you want us to call your grandmama? You want us to call your grandma? No, please don't. Please don't.
Because
not only am I going to get an ass whooping, I'm not going to be able to go anywhere for the next month. So, I was forced in that situation and some other situations where I had to handle it myself.
Right.
Couldn't go home crying to mama. You can't go home crying to mama or grandmama. You got to handle that yourself. Because if they get involved, trust me, you ain't leaving the house because you can't handle yourself. I can't trust you out there.
Your mom was old school.
Yeah. My mama and grandma were like that. You just let him take your stuff. I tell you what, don't worry about it. I go get it, but you won't get it back. It's mine now. No, I go get it. Don't worry about it. Man, I rather, and that's really why I didn't run the streets, Miss T, because I tell everybody, I was more afraid of my grandmother and my mama than I was of any of you dudes out here in the street. I wasn't afraid of y'all. No. I was afraid of my grandma.
I didn't take it too far because my mom, I was scared of her till I was like 25. And by that time, I was like 5 years in the military. So, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But look, the MMA. I got to ask you about the name Smooth. Something Smooth, the Hawaiian looking dude.
What's his name?
Something Smooth. See, I should have wrote these
Oh,
names.
you talking about Benson Henderson. Oh, he's half Korean.
That's what he is.
Yeah, he's half black, half Korean.
That dude, I don't know what type of judo, karate, or whatever he was doing, but the guy will clearly get him, but he flipped it on him. Like, did you see when he flipped the dude and the dude came head first?
Yeah. That's that's in a lot of cases that's just great jujitsu. That's called
that is okay.
Let me see if I can pronounce it right. That's called a Umanari roll or Imanari roll in jiu-jitsu, where you can roll and grab a hold of a guy's leg and lock up a leg lock. That's high level jiu-jitsu, high level Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which Benson Henderson is. Benson Henderson, for the past 10, 12 years, has been one of the top lightweights in MMA. He's a former champion in the UFC. He was also a former champion in what is now a defunct organization called the WEC, which was just the UFC for lighter weight classes, because at one point the UFC didn't have a weight class below 170 pounds. So the WEC was everything 155, 145, 135, right? So Anthony Pettis, Anthony Showtime Pettis, which is one of my favorites, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, Uriah Faber, Jose Aldo, who you've seen fight. All of those guys were in WEC at one point. That promotion closed down in 2002. Benson Henderson was a champion over there, and he was also a champion in the UFC. So he's been a champion for a long time, doing those same moves. A lot of these kids now, they grew up watching him fight. They came up watching him fight, and that's why I love the evolution of the sport. Because what are you going to see in the next 10 years from guys who have been watching John Jones fight their entire career? They've been training to beat John Jones because he was the apex of that division. What are we going to see in the next 10 years out of Africa from these kids who have been watching Kamaru Usman, Israel Adesanya, Francis Ngannou? What are we going to see in the next 10 years from those guys? What are we going to see in the next 10 years from kids who grew up watching George St. Pierre and Rory McDonald out of Canada? It's the evolution of the sport. You see the sport slowly evolving from the early days where it was just a free for all. There were no weight classes. There were no gloves. It was all about which martial art is going to come out on top. What happens when we put a Taekwondo guy in here with a boxer? That's how Ultimate Fighting or MMA really started on a professional level.
So you're saying the structure has changed and
the structure, not only the structure, but guys are really now like the 145-pound champion, the featherweight champion, and AJ McKee over in Bellator, quite possibly is the best featherweight MMA fighter on the planet right now. He's 19-0, 18 or 19-0, and he's trained exclusively MMA his entire life. He's been training since he was 5 years old, been training MMA. This next wave of fighters have been training exclusively nothing but MMA. Before, within like the past 10 years or so, you still had guys who were what we call specialists. He was a jiu-jitsu guy who learned how to kickbox, or who learned Taekwondo, or you had a wrestler who learned how to box. Now you're getting guys who are training MMA. They're learning how to grapple and strike all in one setting. They're learning everything together instead of just one discipline.
So I think I'm liking jiu-jitsu because I like that. That takes me back to them karate days. I was like,
hey, Miss T, take it from somebody who's actually trained jiu-jitsu. It's nothing like getting somebody and taking them out. There's nothing like it. Once you face off against somebody who really doesn't know how to grapple and they grab you, it's like I equate it to You remember how when you would your little cousins or your little brother or something, where you just grab them and you put your knees on their shoulders and hold them down. That's what it feels like when you're grappling somebody who doesn't know how to grapple. You feel like you're drowning. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing you can do. You're helpless. There's nothing you can do. At any point, they could choke you out, or they could grab your arm and snap it off, or they could grab your leg and rip your knee off.
Look, right now with my limited knowledge, and I'm admitting that I got limited knowledge, I'm team jiu-jitsu.
You know what? My good brother DB would love to hear you say that.
Really?
He would love to hear. Yeah, I believe he has a gym out in LA, and he does MMA training. He does jiu-jitsu and boxing and all that type of stuff. He trains people out there in LA. So he would love to hear you say that. Huh?
The one that used to come on Fred at the end.
Yeah.
I heard him talk about, I didn't know shit. But I heard him talk about the MMA, and then I know you and Kyle and all y'all would have MMA nights and all that stuff. But I thought it was rudimentary. But it was a breath of fresh air, DJ. I gotta say, I very much enjoyed it. I don't know all the names. It's gonna take me a minute, but I was happy that I could notice a different style, because if you don't know, they all look the same. And then I was like, wait a minute, this dude Henderson, I see why they call this motherfucker smooth, because you think you're doing this to him, and that motherfucker he just do a 180 on your ass. And they was talking about him coming off a losing streak. The last question I had, I wanted to ask you, what makes a person undisputed? Because I don't think they got a lot of belts, so how does that work?
Whoever's the champion. There's only they'll now in MMA they'll crown an interim champion for one of a few reasons. Number one, the champion is injured and can't fight.
Oh, okay.
So they'll take the number one contender. If he hadn't just fought the champion, they'll take the number one contender and he'll fight the number two contender or the number three. Like I said, you have to be within the top 5, top 7 to even be considered for a title shot.
Wow. And this guy that got in the ring with him, the black guy, who was that looked like that's interesting. Hey, look, I'm already saying
Chet Congo.
Yeah.
Chet Congo. Believe it or not, Chet Congo is like 42, 43 years old.
Ooh.
Yeah, Chet Congo's been around for a while. He also used to fight in the UFC back in the day. But he's one of the first guys to leave the UFC and go to Bellator.
I'm going to tell you guys, DJ can tell you, if I can like the Bellator, it must be something to it. Because I really like the Bellator.
It's just the counters are different. The counters and the footwork is different from MMA. That's why a lot of MMA fighters struggle with boxing, because their counters and their distance is different. The spacing is different. The things that you have to look out for in MMA is different from boxing. You duck in boxing, only thing you probably got to worry about is running into an uppercut. You duck in MMA, you might run into a knee, you might run into a kick, you might get taken down. You throw a looping left hook in MMA, somebody gonna duck up under and take you down.
They be looking sometimes like, I'm scared to throw a strike. I'm scared, and then when they kicking and they moving, like one of those fighters had a sweep. I don't know who it was, but I was very impressed with that, because you would think that the guy kept switching from orthodox to southpaw, and his opponent kept sweeping his fucking leg whenever. I want to was it southpaw or orthodox. Whenever he went orthodox, whatever stance he would go, his opponent kept sweeping that motherfucker, and I was like, "Don't go back that way." Now I'm talking to the TV.
Yeah. Them leg kicks add up. Them leg kicks add up. You've seen within the past 3 years or so, going back to Benson Henderson. Benson Henderson, he wasn't the first one by far. The leg kicks come from Muay Thai and kickboxing.
Okay.
So Benson Henderson was one of the first guys, probably 7-8 years ago, to start the low calf kick, where you kick that muscle tissue right below the calf, right above the ankle, where it just hits that nerve in that foot, and it slows down your movement. So you see guys switching stances after they've taken a few kicks to the leg, and they don't check them, which checking is pretty much just lifting your leg up where they don't catch the meat or the muscle tissue in your legs. They catch that shin bone. See, shin on shin hurts. Shin on muscle don't hurt as much. It still hurts, but it don't hurt as much. I've seen guys break their legs, throwing leg kicks before if they hit that shin bone. So it deadens the nerve in that foot, and your leg just goes dead, and it compromises your movement. All of a sudden, a guy who had a lot of bounce in his step, in the first couple rounds, by that third or fourth round, if they've taken a lot of leg kicks, all of a sudden they just, they barely moving from side to side, and they become more stationary target. So you see guys now implementing that low calf kick even more, or that inside leg kick. They start kicking the side, start kicking right below the knee. They're trying to do something, especially if the person has a longer arm reach than you. That's a good way to try to gauge your distance or get in closer to them.
Yeah, I gotta say, definitely, I'm a believer now and I'm gonna continue to watch the Bellator. I feel like whatever was in me innately, because it is innate for humans to like to see fights.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like gory shit. I don't like it. And if I'm looking at something, I start going, ooh, like that. It's too much for me. But Bellator, I felt like it was a fight. Now I'm gonna ask you this, and then I gotta do my Black History because I do one every day. I'm gonna do one every day this month. The poking of the eye. I think I might have asked you this before. That card this weekend was so good. I had a dream about how can we make Bellator better. Look at me. Look at God, y'all. Look at God. I was for 3 seconds.
You said how to make it better?
How to make it better. With the
I don't know. It don't get much better, especially with they the only one who these tournaments, and I love that.
Mm-hmm. No, but I'm talking about the eye poking. I think if you poke somebody in the eye, whether you meant to or not, you got to get a point. You got to have a motivator. You have to have a strong motivator, but you just don't. You go out your way to not to do it. Versus, it can happen. You know why? Because the minute an eyeball pops out, people done. People like me gonna be done.
I get what you're saying. Make the penalty stiffer for eye pokes.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that you get people. Each promotion has different glove designs. You get what I'm saying? Like Bellator has a different glove design than the UFC. UFC has a different glove design than ONE FC or even PFL. They all look the same, but one might have more padding on the fingers. You got former fighters now and trainers who are now trying to engineer some new gloves where you can still keep full functionality of your hand, but at the same time, we got to get some more padding on these fingers to where people won't get poked in the eye. I know the fight that you're talking about. I'm trying to remember the names.
Yeah, see, I couldn't get the name.
I'm trying to remember the names. I know what fight you're talking about. It ended in the third round because of an eye poke.
Yeah, the guy was a good fighter, and sometimes there was a part of me that felt like he was quitting too. I ain't gonna lie, because I was like, they gave him the 5 minutes, and the doctor came over, but he was hurting. I didn't.
Yeah.
It was a little.
Yeah, that happens. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens where a guy they'll give you 5 minutes, whether it's a low blow or an illegal strike to the head while an opponent's down, or an eye poke. Once it happens, they give you 5 minutes. After that 5 minutes is up, can you continue? If you can't continue, then if it's in the first round, it becomes a no contest. After 2 rounds, just like in boxing, after 4 rounds, it becomes a full fight.
And you know what?
So then they'll go to the cards.
They gave him the fight, right? Didn't he win?
Yeah, the guy who did the eye poking, not the victim, he got the fight because he was already up 2 rounds.
Okay.
Yeah, he was already up 2 rounds. Once 2 rounds have been concluded in an MMA fight, it's considered a full fight, and they can declare a winner. They can go to the card and declare a winner if that opponent gets illegally eye poked. Now, if he gets kneed in the head illegally, whether it was intentional or unintentional, if he gets kneed in the head while he's down or get kicked in the head while he's down, he can't continue. Then that'll be a disqualification win for the victim.
And see, and that's how it should be with the eye poking, because again, you gotta look to the future. This is something that can happen. You have to have people cognitive of this eye poking, because a person like me, squeamish, I see that, I can't watch it no more. I'm like, I might get off the horse and then it might take me a long time to get back. I may never come back.
Right.
I just think that, because some people, like, I think people do nut shots on purpose. I don't care what the reason. I don't care. That's just, when somebody else cheat or come at you sideways, that don't mean you should. And some people got that enough integrity to be like, even though you just did this, I'm not gonna play in your games. I'm not doing it. I.e., when Zav Judah hit Mayweather in the nuts. Mayweather, you're like a champ. You think Mayweather didn't want to go over there and beat the shit out of him? I ain't never seen Mayweather hurt. Not like that. He was hurt. The way he skipped across that damn, and Roger had to come in there, and Roger felt like he had to throw them hands.
Right.
What did Mayweather do? He handled himself professionally. He finished out the fight and he outfought him. And he didn't hold a grudge.
Yeah, you'll see, guys. You'll know because you'll know whether it was intentional or not, or unintentional, because guys be like, "Oh man, my bad." They'll dap it up. Like, my fault, man, my fault. Because these guys actually get win bonus. The way these purses work in MMA, I know, especially in the UFC, you get your show money and then your win bonus. So say like if you're contracted to fight, like, so like if your contract is 75 and 75, right? You get 75K just for making weight. That's considered you showing for the fight. You get 75K just for showing up, making weight, and then you get another 75K if you win. The loser gets nothing. He just gets whatever his contract was, whether it was 65 or 75K, they'll just get that, and that's just their pay.
Wow. Well, that's a motivator.
It's a motivator, but then you get a lot of these decisions, like my girl Angela Overkill Hill, who is a strawweight, which is 115 pounds in MMA for women. It's exclusively a women's weight class in MMA. She's had a lot of split decision wins go against her. She's had a lot of split decision losses. At least 3 of those that I've seen should have went her way. Like her last fight, she lost $73,000 off of a fight that she should have won because, in my mind, the judges got it wrong. So the judging overall has to get better in MMA, because now we're starting to phase out a lot of these. Because when it first got sanctioned, they didn't have any real MMA judges. They brought a lot of these people over from boxing, and they had explained the rules to them, but they really didn't understand. They never grappled before. They had never fought before, so they really didn't understand what they were watching. Now you're getting more former trainers and former fighters who are becoming referees and who are becoming judges that really understand what they're seeing, so they can judge these fights better. Because somebody like Angela Hill, who contemplated retirement because she's had at least, in my opinion, at least 3, could be more, decisions that should have gone her way that didn't. And she loses money over that.
Hey, I feel him. It's like you said, the key word, evolution.
Evolution. The sport is evolving. The sport is slowly evolving. They only started competing, like the UFC opened its doors and started competing on a professional level in 1993.
Wow.
They didn't start sanctioning. That's why they got to wear those small ass gloves, because nobody was sanctioning it if it was bare knuckle. You see what I'm saying? They had to find a way to sanction it, put it on TV, market it, because they had to completely change the marketing. They had to market it as a sport and not as a blood sport, because people don't want to see that. People don't want to see something being marketed as a blood sport, like yourself, who don't want to see it marketed as a blood sport. No, these are real professional athletes. These are top of the food chain martial artists who are getting in here and displaying their athleticism and their martial art in front of everybody, in front of the entire world. So they had to find a way to make it into a sport. So they came so that's when they started doing the 4-ounce gloves. I think they started doing the 4-ounce gloves in like 90, want to say 96, 97, I want to say. That's when they first started sanctioning.
You know what? Shit. I swear, if they ever had a division that, like, because I used to love watching karate movies on the weekends.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And to this day, I
Yeah.
can put one on and be cleaning up, folding clothes, and be like,
Bloodsport, kickboxer, Bruce Lee movies, stuff like that.
See, the Bloodsport, that was cool, but then I was like, man, this shit ain't real. I used to be into Steven Seagal for a hot second. And I was like, man, that shit ain't real.
Yeah.
But then
Steven Seagal is legit. Steven Seagal is legit. He is a black belt in Aikido, in the martial art called Aikido. Yeah, he's legit. But the martial art that he practices was it was created and practiced in Japan. He's actually one of the only Americans that are qualified to teach it in Japan. So it was made to disarm people who had swords. So that's what Aikido is. It's made to disarm you. It's made to disarm you. It's not necessarily the same thing as Taekwondo, Judo, your traditional karate, Kempo. It's not the same thing. It's just made to primarily disarm an opponent, disarm an armed opponent.
I remember growing up, I used to look at the females in there that be turned like the Wing Chun or whatever.
Wing Chun, yeah.
And all that shit. What they were saying, it was really a type of karate that I call it karate. I don't know the proper name, but Kung Fu that was geared towards women.
Mm-hmm.
Women can do short bursts and quick. That's going to be your advantage. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're a woman fighting, and so they catered it somewhat to it. And when I think about Bruce Lee with the short distance, pow, very powerful hit, from a short distance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, those were my heroes growing up. All them type movies, man. I wanted to be one of them girls and then have that hair like them.
Yeah, 7 Deadly Venoms, all that. Yeah. See, yeah, I used to watch it too. Yeah.
All day, every day. But DJ, thank you for coming in.
Yes, ma'am. Anytime I got time for you, Miss T.
Most definitely. But I know it's gonna be a couple of weeks before the next Bellator. I know they said the mid-February, and then I can't wait till the next beta fight. Like, I'm a fan, but
Yeah, he fights in May. He fights in May in Paris, France. So that card will probably be on earlier in the day. Because Chet Congo is French. He's a Frenchman.
Cool.
But there is a UFC card this weekend. Even though I know you'll be occupied with boxing, you'll probably be watching Clarissa Shields
all day.
And then you'll probably be watching your man, your Prince Light Skin, old Keith Thurman. So
listen, I'm not buying that fight, but I know.
No. Straight stream team for me.
Yeah. Somebody's supposed to be hooking me up that way, but yeah. Sorry, Keith. And y'all know I'm the last. I'm like standing on the island when it comes to Keith Thurman, because I ain't all the way.
You the last one ringing the bell for Keith Thurman. Well, there's a few of them out there, Miss T. There's a few of them out there.
Yeah.
But you definitely leading the charge for Keith Thurman right now.
Yeah, I think I'm probably the only one. And I was like, thank y'all for not beating me up for, not you per se, but just anybody. That bitch over there repping Keith. But you know what? I might just have Keith on here. Don't blink.
Oh Lord, you gonna start something in.
Look, my evil laugh.
I already got two good questions for him. My first question: so why you ain't want to beat up the young pup Errol Spence? If you was such a young pup, why you ain't just want to just dust him off and get him out of there?
Well, look,
so do you know who Jerron Ennis is now?
I know. Look, I'll let y'all ask a question, but y'all gotta be respectful to my guests now. Don't make my
like I said, I ain't got nothing personal against Keith Thurman. It's all professional. I don't know the man outside of the ring. He ain't did nothing to me. It's just all professional for me.
He be like, T, let me in. I'm like,
I don't like his long periods of inactivity. That's it for me. You can't
I can see
have 2-3 years off and come back and get a title shot.
Look, I can see Kyle trying to be in. Be like, Miss C, let me in. I'm like,
Oh,
not over. Y'all ain't
oh man! If Kyle beams in, I'm just gonna fall back and I'm just gonna listen. I'm just gonna fall back and enjoy the show.
Lord have mercy.
Shout out to my guy Kyle in the boxing section.
Yeah, I know. Shout out Kyle, and I did get his thing. I just haven't looked at it, but I'm preparing for something big. I'm just say it right there. Yeah, I'm just leave it right there. So, in light of my preparation, then I got a lot of homework to do. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and move on this Black History. Thank you, DJ, for coming in.
Yes, ma'am. Anytime.
All right, gotcha. That was very interesting. Let me see. You want me to take you out? Or let me see. Oh, you got you. That was very interesting, and I appreciate DJ to come in because he's going to help me get acclimated to Bellator. It seems that's the one I'm picking, and in that genre of MMA, wrestling, taekwondo, Muay Thai type fighting style. But as y'all see, I didn't know it was jiu-jitsu, but I guess I'm a fan. That's I like that. Anywho, so let me get prepared. We're gonna talk about this little nugget for Black History, and let me take that. So, Granville Taylor Woods. That's what we're gonna be talking about today. My little Black History moment on my channel that I'm going to do every day for the month of February. We're going to talk about the past, present, and the future. It doesn't matter where you're from in the world. I just need to know the brothers and sisters out there. They need to know. And I need to speak it into existence as well, that we are somebody and we've done great things. Even if nobody else tell us, we need to tell ourselves. So who was Granville T. Woods? Granville T. Woods was born to free African Americans, held various engineering and industrial jobs before establishing a company to develop electrical apparatus known as Black Edison. He registered nearly 60 patents in his lifetime, including a telephone transmitter, a trolley wheel, and a multiplex telegraph, over which he defeated a lawsuit by Thomas Edison. And by the way, that lawsuit, Thomas tried to get him twice. And Granville was like, hell to the knees off. You can't do that. And then he had the nerve, talking about Thomas Edison, to offer him a job. And I'm sure Granville said, you know what? How mighty white of you, but no thank you. That was me putting my own little stank in it because I read a whole lot. It's a lot to read about this guy, but let me continue. I just put my little stank in it because I wasn't there. Of course, I don't know what he said, but I just found it curious or weird that Thomas Edison would try to steal his design, and then when he don't win, because dude was an avid note taker, then he gonna try to turn around and give him a job. Like, dude, I'm the goods. Why would I want to come work for you? That's what I mean by I just put my stank in it. So he was born in Columbus, Ohio, April 23rd, 1856. Woods received little schooling as a young man, and in his early teens took up a variety of jobs, including as a railroad engineer in a railroad machine shop, as an engineer on a British ship, in a steel mill, and as a railroad worker. From 1876 to 1878, Woods lived in New York City, taking courses in engineering and electricity, a subject that he realized early on held the key to the future. He did not get a degree in electrical engineering. I want to stress that part because he was pretty much self-taught. Back in Ohio, in the summer of 1878, Woods was employed for 8 months by the Springfield, Jackson, and Pomeroy Railroad Company to work at the pumping station and the shifting of cars in the city of Washington Courthouse, Ohio. He was then employed by the Dayton and Southeastern Railway Company as an engineer for 13 months. During this period, while traveling between Washington Courthouse and Dayton, Woods began to form ideas for what would later be credited as his most important invention, the inductor telegraph. He worked in the area until the spring of 1880 and then moved to Cincinnati. Living in Cincinnati, Woods eventually set up his own company to develop, manufacture, and sell electrical apparatus. And in 1889, he filed his first patent for an improved steam boiler furnace. His later patents were mainly for electrical devices, including his second invention, an improved telephone transmitter. The patent for his device, which combined the telephone and telegraph, was bought by Alexander Graham Bell. Y'all know the telephone company, AT&T, Graham Bell, all of them. You know, one begets one begets the other, one begets the other. But this man was in the forefront of all that. And the payment freed Woods to devote himself to his own research. One of his most important inventions was the trawler, a grooved metal wheel that allowed streetcars, later known as trolleys, to collect electric power from the overhead wires. Wood's most important invention was the multiplex telegraph, also known as the induction telegraph or block system, in 1887. The device allowed men to communicate by voice over telegraph wires, ultimately helping speed up important communication and subsequently preventing crucial errors such as train accidents. Woods defeated Edison's lawsuit that challenged his patent and turned down Edison's offer to make him a partner. Thereafter, Woods was often known as Black Edison. You don't say. After receiving the patent for the multiplex telegraph, Woods reorganized his Cincinnati company as the Woods Electric Company. In 1890, he moved his own research operation to New York City, where he was joined by his brother, Leigh Yates Woods, who was also an inventor of his own right. Woods' next most important invention was the power pickup device in 1901, which is the basis of the so-called third rail currently used by electric power transit systems. I know that third rail they tell you to be careful of when you're in the subway. There you go. From 1902 to 1905, he received patents for an improved air brake system. Granville Woods was a popular man. He was articulate, well-spoken man, very meticulous, stylish in his choice of clothing, often dressed in all black. I would say he was the original man in black. He would often claim he was from Australia or, admit to being a foreigner or immigrant, believing that he would get more respect that way. Woods also patented the tunnel construction for the electrical railroad system. Over his career, he had so many patents for inventions like automatic brakes, egg incubators, improvements to other technologies, safety circuit, telegraph, telephone, and phonograph. System boiler furnace in 1884. He also had an apparatus which was a combo of a telephone and telegraph called a telegraphony. This allowed telegraph stations to send voice and telegraph messages through Morse code over a single wire. He sold this device to American Bell Telephone. There go Bell Atlantic again. See, I remember them as Bell Atlantic. The AT&T, Graham Bell, whatever they call it, it's all the same. Of note, his patent in 1887 of the multiplex railway telegraph created comms between train stations and moving trains. How they did it? By creating magnetic fields around coiled wires under the train. But before he could patent this part, he caught smallpox, and Lucius Phelps had it instead. He got a reprieve, though, by showing his work. Hint to the wise should be sufficient. Keep good notes, because that's how he was able to get back the things that were stolen from him. He was that good of an inventor that a lot of people would steal his ideas and all that. And suffice to say, he was probably a little bit on the narcissist side. I don't know. I'm just speculating because of how he led his life, or how he lived his life. People love to claim his ideas, like Lucius Phelps and Thomas Edison, who sued him twice. Well, he had to sue Thomas Edison twice for trying to steal his ideas. His inventions aided in the technology of railway today and even roller coasters. That's that same technology. Companies like Bell Telephone to AT&T to GE, he revolutionized controlling electrical lights in theaters like dimmers, saving people 40% of electricity. He died of cerebral hemorrhage at Harlem Hospital in New York City, January 10th, 1910. Most of his creations were sold to Westinghouse, GE, American Engineering, Bell Telephone, AT&T. He must have been penniless at death because he was buried in an unmarked grave. That's sad. He was buried in an unmarked grave, and an historian by the name of M.A. Harris helped raise funds and convince several corporations that used his products and ideas to contribute to a respectable headstone. Granville Woods was a prominent member of his community, society, and great American. He was a man before his time who left a profound legacy for generations to come. Shout out to Granville Woods. And that's my little nugget for the day on Black History. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Grown Woman Talk. I'm going to find something to talk about for Black History. I'm going to be doing it every day. Every time I do a show, I'm going to drop a nugget on something Black History. As y'all can see, the themes this week, it was about inventors. One nugget that I take away from it is because I talked about inventors that were during, before and during and after slavery, how legitimate, or how having a patent, it meant more than just being able to stake a claim on your product or your idea, but it also legitimized you as an American citizen and a non-slave. I thought that was a good little nugget that I picked up when I was reading about these people. I hope you guys saw that too. But anywho, thanks for joining in. Thanks for listening to us. Remember, every Thursday, if DJ has time, we're going to talk about Bellator or MMA or something like that. We have to find an alternative to boxing. Good luck to Keith Thurman. I hope you do win. I believe that you will win. I don't think he's drained himself out. He looks very good. I'm going to trust that you're in shape and everything. And I will apologize, Keith Thurman, because I'm still a fan. And I would normally buy your fight, because I normally buy all the fights. But in light of the Tim Smith, and I'm going to keep saying it till people get it through their thick skull and till people start catching wind. In light of Tim Smith's comment about why he can't get a fight together for Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, I can't roll with the PBC because they're not rolling with me. So, an eye for an eye, so to speak. But anyway, smash the like button. Please, you guys, smash that like button when y'all enter this square circle. I know you guys are looking. Stop reckless eyeballing. Just come on in and hit the like, share, and subscribe. That's my time for the day. I try to go 2 hours, but we went over a little bit. But thank you guys for joining us. Tomorrow when y'all come in, smash the like button. talking to you at Facebook too. Don't forget my Sunday show at 1300 every week. Wellness show. I didn't do one last week because of football, whatever. I don't think it's a football game this weekend, so I will do one this weekend. But definitely on Super Bowl, I will not be doing a show. So, anywho, I think football is on Sunday. I don't know. Anywho, oh, y'all never did get at me. I'll ask again tomorrow. Y'all come back tomorrow and tell me what names. I know it's too late, but maybe we can petition them. Because Washington Commandos, no. For the Redskins, no. But Washington Natives, that's a good one. So y'all let me know. Don't leave me out on the island talking about this football, and I don't even watch it like that. All right, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching. And all I can say is peace.